and you pluck along with me, okay? If you can.
What's going on YouTube? In today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to make a custom wiring kit to add some fog lights on your truck. So if your truck doesn't have any fog light switch or anything like that, then I'll go ahead and show you how to make a quick harness on that. So if you want to check it out, make sure you stay tuned and let's get to it. Alright guys, so I have the Tahoe right here and I'm thinking about adding some fog lights right here to my SS bumper. As you can see, you know, it's all empty and stuff, so it has no fog lights down there. I had to take off the factory ones because now, you know, this pocket right here just gets in the way. So you can just see right here that I have the, you know, stock wiring and stuff, but my fog lights are not there.
And then...
So since the factory fog lights won't fit on this bumper anymore, I'll try to make up something right there. And since I'm trying to work on my own fog lights right here, I also had somebody ask me under the comments, you know, about making a custom harness to add, you know, fog lights to a truck like this that doesn't have the fog light switch or anything like that. So that's what I'll be showing you guys today. And then later, you know, I'll be working on mines as well. But I think I'm going to be integrating mines into my factory fog light switch. So on my truck, I actually have the factory fog light switch right here, which works. And I'm going to be trying to integrate mines into here. But for today, I'll be trying to make a custom wiring that does not use that switch right there, which is going to be aftermarket. And I'll show you right now. Alright, so right here on the left side, I have the ones that I'm going to be using on my truck later on. So these are made by Oxbeam. So I won't be hooking these up today, but I can show you a little bit on them right now. And then these are just some original, you know, fog lights right here from a Tahoe or Silverado. But as you can see, these right here already come all set up. So they got the relay, you know, the switch, and then, you know, their power wires right here. But I'll show you how to make something like this, or, you know, how to make it a little bit different in there. Alright, so I went ahead and hooked them up to power. And this setup is actually pretty simple to make. So as you can see, they have a relay right here, and then it goes to a switch, and then they just have like two power wires, so a positive and a negative. And that's pretty much what we'll be doing today. But I'll go ahead and show you on this setup right here. As you can see, I'm using this as my power battery right here. So I just have my negative and positive straight up from right here so you can see it real quick. And you know, of course, they have a fuse right here. So this one's just a 10 amp fuse because they're just LEDs. So it's always good to have a fuse. And on this one, you know, the switch is right here. So if I press this one right here, they'll come on. And you can see they're on white. And these are actually switchbacks. So if I press it one more time over here on this other one, you know, they do amber as well. And you guys let me know what you think on this, but this is what I'm thinking of using on the Tahoe right here.
Oh, in case I get caught in a swamp. That's a good idea.
It also has like some strobing modes, but I don't really like them, but I'll show you real quick right here. So that's both right there, orange or amber and white. The white strobe, you know, amber strobe, and then white again. So that's pretty much the settings it has right there. But I just really like the white and then the amber. So I'll be messing with these later on, but I'll show you how to make the wiring like I said. And you know, the thing that I don't like is this switch right here.
You don't have to.
No, I don't like you.
You know, I like mine's a little bit different or hidden. That's why I'm going to be customizing it. But that's pretty much how it works. A relay, the switch, and then, you know, the power wiring. So let me go ahead and start showing you how to do that real quick right here. Alright, so this is going to be pretty simple. Mostly what you're going to be using, you know, is going to be a relay right here. So one relay, you'll need some type of wire, like 16 gauge is good. Something a little bit better, you know, could be maybe like 12 gauge. You don't want something too thin and you don't want it too thick either, but you know, I'd say like 16 is pretty good. And then of course some type of connectors, like these are just butt connectors and, you know, like little ring terminals, or you can solder them however you like. This is just going to be an example, so I'm just going to be using like butt connectors, and you know, I'm just making it real simple. But you would just do this in a bigger scale, I guess, you know, but I'll go ahead and show you real quick. So this wiring right here is pretty much how I have my Silverado wired up right now, because that one was just basic and it had no, you know, fog light switch from the factory. So of course you'll need some fog lights, and these are just the factory ones, but you can use like LED pods or anything like that. So I don't have the correct bulbs for here, so you know, I'm going to be using this pigtails and some LED bulbs that I have right here. Just make sure, you know, you have some type of pigtail, that way you can like disconnect them and make them into the harness right here. So I'll be using these right now because I don't have no factory bulbs in here. And I'll also have some of these items linked down below, like the relays, you know, some wire and stuff like that, that you can use on making this harness. So pretty much what you want to do is have something like this, because this makes it a little bit easier. And, you know, the relay just, you know, plugs in here. If anything gets damaged, you can just, you know, change it out. But you want to go ahead and start off by removing this middle pin right here. So if you notice right in the middle, it says 87A. That's the red wire, and we don't need that one. So we're just going to pull it off. You know, just depin it, just like that. So this won't be needed right there. And then you'll be left over with these 4 wires. Now I could just put my relay in here, and then just make sure that none of these wires are gonna pop out, you know, because sometimes they want to come out or something like that. So just make sure everything is good in there. And now all these are in here. Next, what you want to do is get some of your 16 gauge wire here for the, leads on your fog lights. So these are going to be pretty long to wherever, they reach your fog light. So, don't make them too short. But let's say in this case, I have this, I'm just going to cut it in half to have, 2 wires for 2 fog lights. So let me cut it real quick right here. So I'm just going to cut it in half. All right, so now I have 2 wires right here. And what I'm gonna do is just split them up so I can separate the ground and positive from here. All right, so now I have them all, both open right here. What I'll be doing is I'm gonna be using this silver or white color right here, the lighter one, for ground, and then my blue is gonna be my positive. So I wanna have these 2 together. So pretty much these 2 and this black wire are gonna get joined together, which is pin 85, and then the 2 grounds from the fog light. So all 3 right here will be combined as one. So that's these 2 right here, and then this one, of course. And you can make it longer. This is just, short for the video right here. But, you want to put the ring terminal right there. If this is too short from wherever you're mounting it, like your battery or something, you can make it longer. And then you want to crimp it right here. And so that's the ground right there. So this is the ground already for the relay and the 2 fog lights. So that's already grounded. So these 2 blue wires, you want to hook up to this yellow wire, which is pin 87. So this is the output of the relay. So these 3 will get joined together. So pin 87 right here. And then you want to crimp them right here together. So now your fog lights are actually, hooked up to the relay right here. And, I just have them hanging right there. So this is how it should look right now, and it looks pretty good. And now these 2 right here are your positive and negative. And what you want to do with these is hook them up to your pigtails. So if you purchase a pigtail, you want to do positive, negative here, and then of course on the other fog light. So just like that. So that can be a plug and play setup right there, and you can just swap out your bulbs, and it's going to be easy right there. So let me go ahead and crimp these to the pigtails right there. So there I just exposed the wires on my 2, fog light wires, and I'll put my butt connectors on here so that I can join them here. So just like that. And whenever you crimp them, just make sure you're crimping them the right way. So this rounded edge with the peak, you don't want to do it from back here. It's got to be like right in this area with the peak right there. Just like that. So on top is rounded, and then the bottom has a little peak. Or like I was saying, if you solder them, of course, that's even better. So I'd recommend soldering it really. So this right one is my negative, and the blue one is my positive. And on here, the darker one, so this black wire is my negative, and then this light blue wire is my positive. So this silver or white right here is to the black, which is negative. And then my blue is to this light blue, which is my positive. So it's pretty simple. If they're reversed, usually just flipping the bulb around is okay with the LEDs, or halogens will work either way. So it won't even matter on a halogen bulb. So that's one. All right, so both are done now, and I can hook them up to my actual fog lights. And these don't belong here, so, I'm just making them work right there for the video. All right, guys, so now we have, the power side and the ground side right here to the output of the, fog lights themselves. So the other wire that you're gonna need is the main power wire, which is going to be this blue wire right here, and this is going to be pin 30 on the relay. So this is going to go straight up to the battery. So this one right here goes straight to the battery, but what I'll do is put a fuse on it, because you don't want anything to like, get messed up in here and burn up something. So it's better to put a fuse. So something like this right here, as you can see, it's got a fuse holder spot right here, and you just put the fuse in there, and then you got to put a ring terminal, and then, a connector to join these together. So for this example, I'll just put it right here real close, but if you have to, you can make it a little bit longer, because in case, depending on where you're getting your power from. But for this example right here, it's pretty good on this area, so I don't need it any longer than that. So my ring terminal looks pretty good there, and I can just do the back side right here. And this one's a bit thick, so I have to put a bigger, butt connector on here. So these are like 16 gauge, and then this one's like a 12 gauge right here. You can see this one's a little bit thinner, it's more like a 16 gauge wire. And normally that I like to solder them, but this will work as well. So I just got to put the fuse right here. So if you guys notice, these relays are 30-40 amp. So you can put like a 30 amp fuse, 20 amp, something like that. So I have a 30, so I'm going to use 30 right now. So just like that, and I can, cover it up because it makes it look better. All right, so the harness is almost pretty much done. So now you can see the ground side, the 12 volt side, and then this wire right here is going to be pin 86. So this is going to be the turn on for the actual relay. So if this wire gets 12 volts, then the relay will come on. So what I'll do is make this a little bit longer so that way I can run this wire to wherever I want to get power from. So, to activate the relay. So I'll just use some wire right here. This is a very thin wire. It's like a 18 gauge wire, but you can use, you know, 16, 18. It doesn't really matter. It's just a trigger wire. All right, guys. So that's the relay harness all done right there. And I'll go ahead and show you how to, you know, test it out, and also how to do it with a switch or without a switch. So this is my ground wire, and you know, our relay is grounded from right here. So I just went ahead and wrapped it right here for this test, and that's my ground right there. And then I got the 12-volt wire right here. Of course, if you do it in the car, you want good connections, but this will work for now. So that's my 2 wires right there, ground, and then 12 volts. And usually when I do my harnesses, I also like to clean them up with some Tesa tape like this, or you know, the other kind. So this is the original Tesa tape, and then this other brand right here, which is pretty good, and it's not too expensive, but they both work, except that this one you have to cut with scissors or a blade, and then this one you can just tear up with your finger, but they're both good. I like using both of these. And our trigger wire is right here now that it's extended on pin 86. So whenever this gets 12 volts, then the relay will come on and turn on the fog light. So you'll see it right here whenever I tap into the 12 volt section right here. So there you can see the fog lights come on. And that's pretty much it right there. So what I like to do is usually if I'm not running no switch, I like to run this to my headlight wire. That way whenever my headlights come on, then it activates the relay and my fog lights also come on. So all 4 at the same time, and I don't have to be pressing on no switches. Going up. It's all preference right there, and if you really want to do a switch, I'll show you how to do a switch as well, which is, you know, it's not that bad. It's pretty easy. So right here are some switches. So as you can see, this one has like a little LED, and it's already mounted in a factory spot. So, you know, you can flush mount them, make them look a little bit more factory, so something like this. And this one has 3 pins, and then this is another 3 pin right here, but it looks different. And then there's the 2 pins. The 2 pins are going to be even easier, but you know, they're not that bad. This is the same switches over here. So I'll show you real quick with the 2 pin, which is real easy. So this one just uses 2 wires, and you know, you would crimp the connectors right here or solder them just like this. So one of these wires will go to the relay 86, so right here, you know, just wrapping it like this, or you know, crimping it, however you do your connections. I would do soldering, but just like that. And then the other side would go directly onto the 12 volt, so like right here. So I'm just touching it right there. So this is the way it's just set up. Whenever, you know, you turn it on, then it'll kick it on just like that. And then, you know, off. All right, I just added some more light because it was getting darker. It's been raining today, but pretty much, you know, I have the wire right here. So 86 on one of the sides of the switch. It doesn't really matter which one. And then the other one is going to go straight to 12 volts. So whenever, you know, 12 volts right there, and then you know, push on the switch, it should come on, and then off, and then on. So that's real easy right there. And then on the 3 pin, I'll show you right now. So on the 3 pin switch right here, there's going to be 2 12 volt wires, and then, you know, 1 ground wire. So this very right terminal is the ground. It looks like a little bit goldish or like bronze or something, more like copper. And then these are like gray or silver. So that's the 2 positive sides, and then this is the negative side to make the LED light up. But if you don't really care for the LED, then you don't need to put no ground on here. So if you're not sure which one is the negative side, because you can't really tell on the color, you can just do it with the 2 positives first. So making sure, you know, that the fog lights actually work. So let's just see if I do it on the wrong spot. So this would be, you know, the ground side, but I'm putting it on the positive. And then right here in the middle. And so I would put this onto 12 volts. And as you can see, the light lights up, but the, you know, fog lights are not turning on because it's not passing current back. So this is just getting ground off this relay. So, you know, that's the wrong way because the fog lights are not coming on. So I'll move it to the correct spot, which is on the other side right here. And then now I'll put this back on the 12 volts. And this is off now. And if I push it, the fog lights come on, but of course the light is not on because the other side is not grounded. So that's the correct way right there. And now you know that the last pin has to be grounded. So there you go, you can see it turned off. And so now I'll just put a ground wire in here. So just like that, and then I can just grab a ground off here. And now you can see the switch is on like that. And there you go, so it comes on. And this right here would probably be good onto an ignition. You don't want to go straight to 12 volts. You want to do an ignition wire because that way, you know, this light is not going to be on all the time just like this, even though it's off. So 2 of these will be the, you know, 12 volt side. And then this wire right here, you want to actually grab it off an ignition. That way, whenever, you know, the car comes on, then you'll see the actual light come on in here, but the relay won't be on until you flip the switch. So whenever I put it right here, you can see that it's on. So the car will be on, and then you flip it, and the fog lights will come on. But whenever you turn it off, you know, the car, it'll lose power just like that. Because if you just put it on 12 volts and you turn off your car, it's always going to be on red, you know. It's never going to turn off. So you want to do this one into an ignition wire. That way, you know, this light won't be on all the time right there. Even though it shouldn't drain your battery, but you know, I'd rather just have it off. So when you actually press on it, that's when the relay comes on and activates the fog lights. So just like this, it will drain your battery. But of course, you know, turning it off with this LED, it shouldn't be bad, but you know, I wouldn't recommend it. So I'll go ahead and try out another, you know, 3-pin switch right here. So I'll do this one right here. Looks a little bit different. So this one, you can see if I tap into 12 volts, this LED actually doesn't come on. So this is a different type of switch, but whenever you push it on, you know, it passes the signal, and now this LED is on, and also the fog lights. So this is actually a cooler switch right here, but you know, both of them will work right there. And so this one, whenever I tap into the, you know, 12 volt section right there, the LED is still off, and that's because whenever you press on this, it actually, you know, like lights it up and lights up your fog lights. So that's pretty cool on this switch right here. I like this one better, but still, you can put this wiring into an ignition or 12 volt. So either one will work. Like I said, they won't really drain your battery, not unless, you know, you actually have the fog lights on, because that's actually triggering this. So that's pretty much how to do a 3-way switch right there with the 3 wires right here. You know, you can put it on a 12 volt, and then, you know, you might have an LED here depending on your switch, or it'll actually come on whenever, you know, you switch your fog lights on. So just depending on the switch right there, but both of them will work. And as long as you don't leave it on to where the fog lights are on, then, you know, you won't get no issues of draining no batteries with the relays or something like that. And so on my personal trucks, I actually like to leave it like this and just run this wire to my 12 volt, you know, headlight wire. That way that'll activate the relay. And whenever the headlights are on, then I'll have my fog lights on as well. But if you don't want to do the wire right here to like a headlight or any other source, then you can just do a switch. Also, let me know what you guys think on this setup right here. I think it's pretty simple and it's, you know, not too bad to do. So I'll go ahead and go over the wiring one more time, and then I'll try to test it on the Tahoe just so you can see how it works. So this blue wire is going to be pin 30, and it's going to be going to your fuse right there. So the 12 volt of the battery. So that's the 12 volts. And then this is going to be your pin 85, the black wire. So that's your ground. And then also you're going to get the 2 grounds from the 2 fog lights. So all 3 crimp to the same spot, and that way they all get grounded in one, you know, section. You don't have to do no extra grounds unless you want to separate the grounds and do like 3 separate grounds, but I think that is easier. And then your white wire right here is going to be your pin 86, which is a turn on, and then this will go to, you know, a factory 12 volt signal from the headlight, or, you know, a switch right there. And so the yellow wire is going to be pin 87, which is the last one, and that goes to the 2 positive wires of the fog lights themselves. So just, you know, you run them to the fog lights, and then that's essentially it right there. And then, you know, you just have your trigger wire right here, which is just a 12 volt. So pin 86 right here, which will make them turn on. And, you know, I like to put them on the headlight. So let me see if I can put them on the Tahoe real quick, just from the outside, so you can see right there. All right, so I just hooked them up real quick so I can test it out. And as you can see, I got the 12 volt side right here on the battery, and then the ground, my relay, and then my trigger wire is just hanging around right here. And then the fog lights are already hooked up right there. So I also went ahead and took off my headlights, and as you can see, this is the high beam side, that's the low beam side. So what I like to do is grab the positive, which is going to be this orange wire. So let me go ahead and, you know, insert it real quick right here for you. I just went ahead and pinned it real quick, but normally, you know, I would grab the wire from over here to make it permanent, but for this test, I'm just, you know, putting it right there on the orange wire, which is the trigger wire. So now when I turn the headlights, the fog lights will automatically come on. So there it is. And there you can see the fog lights are on right there, and the headlights are on. And let me know what you guys think on this right here. I think it's pretty cool because you don't have to put no extra switches or nothing like that. But, you know, if you like to, you still can run your switch right there inside. And now I'll go ahead and turn it off right here. And there they go. So now they just, you know, automatically turn off with the headlights. And also, if you don't want to grab signal off of here, you can also grab signal, you know, anywhere else you want this wire to turn on. So whatever signal you put the trigger wire will make the, you know, fog lights come on. So if you put it in ignition, every time you do ignition, the fog lights will come on. If you put them on the headlight wire, then they'll come on with the headlights. If you do something else, then, you know, they'll come on with something else. So for example, if you don't want to grab this headlight wire right here, but you want to get it at the fuse box right here, you would just go into the relay side and put it on pin 87, which is right here, and I'll show you right now. So you take this one off, because this is the, you know, relay for the headlights, and that's on the 2001 Tahoe. So you can see right here it says headlamp, and then pin 87 on the top right. So that's the output side. So I would put this right here, something like this. I mean, it's not the correct way to do it, but you can do it if you want to. So this also works, but, you know, I wouldn't recommend it as much. I would probably just go into the wire itself. So just like that. All right, and the headlights again right here. And you can already see they're turned on right there. So there they go. And then the headlights are on. And then, you know, like I said, I'm just grabbing signal off the output of this relay right here, which is the headlight relay. But, you know, I would recommend just getting the wire right here because it's always better, you know, and it looks better. And then you don't have to have no extra stuff right here. But that's just another option. So just as long as this wire gets 12 volts, it'll trigger this relay into turning on your fog lights whenever you want to. So this wiring right here will work on any car or truck, but you know, of course, it might be a little bit different as far as the relay or the headlight wire. But other than that, it's pretty much universal, so you can use it on anything right there. And also, if this video helped you out or anything like that, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. We're gone.